Welcome to Prep Sports Network. I'm Brian Stanley. This is our coaches show. Hopefully we're going to be able to do this more than once this season. The season kicking off for the 21-22 school year for Mission Prep football in the California Central section and all over California for many schools this week, this Friday. And joining me today is head coach David Schuster in his 5th year at Mission Prep, holding a impressive record with the Royals of 27-10. Coach, this is a new year coming off just a season a couple of months ago with your squad of many players that you're getting to return with. What do we expect from the Royals this season?
Well, there's all the natural cliches. We're excited, we're pumped up, everything's good and stuff. This truly is a really unique group. They've had all kinds of different unique circumstances like everyone else has, but I think the way they've responded to all of it and how they've handled it has been really has set the tone for what this year looks like. And so you've got a group that has a lot of energy and a lot of joy being at practice, and that has continued for a long period of time, wasn't just spring. It was like once we got to summer and we could do a normal summer, people were just really happy and excited about that. And, we were able to do camp week, and we were able to do a number of different things that are consistent for what a normal year would be for us. And I think that's just brought a lot of joy. And what I think the result of that has been is now we have a group that has a lot of natural joy with each other. They love practicing with each other. They love hanging out. They're constantly just having a great time with each other on campus. You see them walking the hallways together and with just really special energy. It feels very much from a bonding standpoint, very similar to that 2018 team. The team that honestly it feels most like, though, is in 2014, we had a team at Grace Brethren that really kind of turned the tide and started to get a lot of really special things happening. That class was very special, had great leadership, and the whole team was bonded really tight. This team reminds me athletically and from a bonding standpoint, very, very similar to that 2014 Grace Brethren team. And so, we're very, very excited. All the standard cliches, but I guess we're just there's hopeful optimism, I guess is probably the best word I could use, or 2 words, where we're hopeful all the COVID stuff goes okay, no one gets injured, and we can move forward the way we want to. And if those things happen, there's reason to be very optimistic this year with this team.
You have a number of returning players back on the roster, only losing Caden Chaney last year. Of those returning, you have some that set out the spring because of COVID concerns. One of those returning with a new number. As a captain, along with a number of other captains that have been named, let's talk about your captains this season.
Yeah, I can't start this conversation without acknowledging Caden Chaney and the work he did. And we made a statement last year, and it holds true right now, that any success that this year's team has is going to be in part because of the leadership that Caden Chaney showed during the spring. And the way he was able to mentor and teach and come alongside a lot of kids. And trying to do that by yourself is incredibly daunting, but he did it, and he was consistent with it, and he never stopped doing it all the way up to the very last game against Morro Bay. And so now you've got several other seniors this year who have a standard of leadership and a model that they're following, based heavily off of how he handled all that. So, Eli Grudanis, I think specifically is a kid you're referencing, who did not, for a number of reasons that the team fully understood. And there were a number of juniors who, because of the academic pressures and standards for Mission Prep, had a number of different things going on. And we fully acknowledge, or in some cases, other kids chose to play another sport. Everyone understood. There was no bad blood. Like, everyone was like, hey, like, you can't, whatever, you guys get it. There was nothing, no ill will with it. So when Eli came back, we did make it very clear to everybody, hey, you're going to have to re-win over the team. And there's no promises of captainship, and we never do that. But it was just very much like, hey, any position of leadership in this program is going to involve you having to show some incredible dedication. And the way Eli stepped up and handled that, and Andrew Abate is also another team captain that did not play in the spring, but the team has really rallied around the way he dedicated himself to the team and himself in the weight room, and the way he's performed on the field. Um, everyone understood their role in the program and the way they've been for 3 years. So Eli Gradanis, long story short, Eli Gradanis is going to be wearing number 52, doing some very special things. We're extremely proud of him and his growth. Andrew Abate is going to be wearing number 14, back at running back, fullback, and playing a little bit outside linebacker. Extremely proud of how Andrew's matured and really turned himself into a phenomenal player and a phenomenal leader. Jack Susink and Caleb Alim are two other team captains. They were captains for us in the spring as well. Have had major roles in this program for quite some time. Jack Susink is also class president. He's basically Captain America. Caleb Alim is one of the most beloved members of the entire school. Every faculty member loves this young man. He's an extremely special man, and we're very proud of how he's matured as well. He's really bought into everything that's going on. I'm very happy with where he's at. And then finally, Jacob Butler, who unfortunately could not play in the spring. He had a hand injury. The way he's dedicated himself, the way he's performed on the field, his academic prowess, and his attention to getting everybody up to being a part of the standard of the program, and the way he's rallied everybody around him. We found ourselves in a situation during camp week where we had a 3-way tie, where everyone votes for team captains, and we told everybody vote for 4. And we ended up with a 3-way tie. And so the staff and I had to sit and talk and deliberate for quite some time about what do we do with this. And the reality is all 3, Andrew Abate, Eli Gradanis, and Jacob Butler, have a very powerful voice in the program. And so and that's something we can't ignore. And so we just chose to essentially we're going to go 5 captains, and we're going to have one captain rotate out each game for who actually walks onto the field for the 4 captains. But could not be more proud of those 5 and the rest of the seniors and the way they have handled this summer and the way this team looks.
Among those returning as well, any breakout stars you're anticipating this season that quite didn't get enough playing time in that 5 games in the spring that you think this season may be their year to show their stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of young men that stand out. Right off the bat, Ryan Ade, who he did not play in the spring due to numerous SAT and ACT stuff that he was dealing with in junior year, just academically. And so but he is an absolute force on the defensive line. And we expect to see some really good things. He's been dominant in practice, and when you're dominant with the size of our offensive line and how good they've been, anybody who's been dominant against them in practice has generally had success. So we're very happy with Ryan. Very excited to see how he goes. There's Tyler Garrett played very well in the spring. He looks even better this year. We have a young man, JJ Howard, who came down from Northern California. His family moved down here. He's now in the school, and he's playing basketball and football. And so he's really established himself from a wide receiver standpoint as a very dominant young man. So we're excited to see what he looks like. And Colby White returning at quarterback. He only played I think 2 or 3 games in the spring, but gosh, man, we could not be more excited about Colby, and we can't wait to see him actually get after it for a full season and everybody finally get to see what we've been seeing every day in practice. So
I'm sure Coach Terrence Harris is happy to hear that he has another dual sport athlete at the school.
Yeah.
Always looking for basketball athletes. Let's move on to your schedule. Quite an impressive schedule, 10-game schedule this year. Starting off with the Brentwood School Eagles, and then closing out the schedule in the Slowtown Showdown. Mm-hmm. That big anticipated game people have been calling for a few years now, since you've gone to 11 man, and that's the Slowtown Showdown against the San Luis Obispo Tigers, which you're hosting. First, let's talk about the Brentwood Eagles, your game you're opening against this Friday, 6 o'clock kickoff, I believe, right?
6 o'clock. Yes, that's correct.
Let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about the team and what you expect from the Eagles as they make their trip down, I believe, from Northern California, correct?
No, it's LA,
Oh,
Brentwood
this is
area.
the LA school. So, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that school is literally right on Sunset. So it's a beautiful campus, beautiful school. We used to play them a lot when I was at Grace Brethren. Different coaching staff, different deal, but I'm a big fan of Coach Ford. I think he does a really good job with his program. I think he coaches them very hard. And there's some matchup concerns that we have going into this game for sure. And I'll tell you, the number one obvious threat is their quarterback, who this young man can throw the ball in a very special way. He's received D1 offers already from some pretty significant schools like Florida State and Ole Miss and Purdue. His older brother was a backup quarterback now at Texas. And so, I mean, this kid's a real deal. He can throw the ball in places that, our concern is that our defense is going to be moving around, treating him like a normal quarterback, going, there's no way he can get the ball over here. And he absolutely can get the ball to the other side of the field at an impossible angle and tight windows that you would never have, you'll never see anybody else get that, the ball through those windows. So that's a huge concern for us. And so defensively, we're really, really working hard on trying to find a way. How do we make this kid uncomfortable? How do we make the receivers uncomfortable? How can we disrupt their offense? Because it's good. They move the ball very well. Their run game is dynamic enough that it's a major threat. And they can pass the ball at any part of the field. And so that stretches the defense. That puts a lot of strain on the defense, and that really forces us to be really creative about how we handle this. And then defensively, they run a defense that, for whatever reason, the last couple of years has given us a lot of problems. This 3-3 defense, and so we've spent a lot of time working on it, and we'll see what it looks like. And if we do our job and we execute at a high level and we're very physical, we feel like we'll be able to do the things we need to do. But man, they have some weapons, and they can do some things in a hurry if you're not careful, and if you're not dialed in on your job on every play. That quarterback in particular can hurt you in a hurry. And so, we're excited. It's high level competition. This kid's legit and the team's legit, and I think it's a great way to kick off the year. So.
And one question, as we did our pre-show stuff, I told you our questions kind of so you could prepare a little bit. What's the one game that's on your schedule this year? Not a grudge match, not anything, but one game that you're happy that's on the schedule that you're just looking forward to playing. One team, one coach.
Oh man.
In a positive way. Is it?
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I guess there's two that I'm really. I love every game. I love everything that we're doing. I can't wait to go play at Atascadero, because that's just such a cool stadium and such a cool environment to play in. I got great respect for Coach Cooper. He's a legend in the area for a reason. And so that's one game that, I think just being there and being in that stadium and that environment is something that I'm really excited about. I've got a lot of respect for Don Crow at Templeton. Those kids are always very, very well coached. It's always a physical matchup. I'm really excited about being able to play them, and that's just a fun competition. I think the one I'm probably most focused on, dialed in on, I guess, out of all of them, probably would be Central Valley Christian, because that's such a high level competition. Mason Hughes and I have a great relationship. I've got great respect for them. Those kids are so incredibly well coached. They're extremely disciplined. They're like-minded like us. This is supposedly one of the best teams he's had. And so whether we win that game or not, I think I'm just really excited to kind compare us. The last time we played them, it was good up until the last 2 minutes of the first half, and then they ran away from. It was like 62-35. And I'm really excited to see, like, okay, how much have we closed the gap between one of these established private school powerhouses and where we're at? And, are we still quite a ways away, or are we much closer? And I'm excited to see what that looks like. And with no expectations of us winning that game, but I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited too. That's one of the games that I'm looking forward to as well. It's going to be a road trip in Visalia. I'll be packing the car full of the gear and hitting the road that day. Already got the day off from work for that game.
Yeah.
Coach, how can they find Mission Prep Football and yourself, David Schuster, on Twitter or social media in general?
Oh man, I don't remember any of the handles. I think it's.
I believe Mission Prep Football is MPC Football on Twitter.
It's capital MCP capital F Football for Twitter, and then Instagram is Mission Prep FB, and we're constantly trying to post content. And I'm thankful I've got some coaches who've been able to be fairly active with it. And not the greatest social media team ever, but it's coming together a little bit. So that's been good.
Some content is better than no content, Coach.
Exactly.
So you can follow Prep Sports Network on Twitter, the Prep SN. Our domain has changed, but our website is still the same. PrepSportsNetworks.com. Mission Prep Football will be live all season long on our YouTube stream. We'll be broadcasting every stream live with you. Stephen Hodges and I will be carrying most games. I will be at all of them, given any unforeseen circumstances. You can't predict the future, but I'll be there. I guess that's it, Coach. We're going to wrap this up. We'll have you on as soon as possible. I'd like to do it every week, but if it can't happen, we'll be back soon before the season's over to catch up with you and the team.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Appreciate you joining us. This is Prep Sports Network's Coaches Show with head coach David Schuster. I'm Brian Stanley.